Ladies and gentlemen, we are live!
Hello and welcome back to Guts and Glory MMA. I am Paul O'D and today I am joined by Brian The Pikeman Moore, live from California. How are you doing, Brian?
I'm good, Paul. Good to be back.
Yeah,
good to be back
exactly. It's been a while. Ryan is holding down your place in Pro-Am. He's doing quite well and his picks are probably doing better than yours were as well. So
Beginner's luck.
Yeah. Look, obviously we're here to talk about the fight this weekend, and we finally have a fight this weekend. Look, you're no stranger to late notice replacements, but it's kind of been up in the air this week. I think they settled on the third opponent for this fight card, was it? Jordan Winsky?
Yeah. Jordan Winsky. So I arrived here I arrived on Friday night, flew over here, long flight, and as I literally opened my hotel door, hadn't even the lights turned on, and the notification came in that that Jared Scoggins was out with COVID.
Yeah. So
they did me another guy. He was 20-5. I said yes. Then he said no.
For fuck's sake.
So then they were left looking again. But I wanted a good opponent. I didn't want us to have some local scrub.
Yeah.
And they've got a good guy at 11-2. He's beat some tough UFC vets.
Yep.
He's been around the scene quite a while, so I'm excited. I just wanted a good opponent to go in and showcase what the hell I can do. His name, after that, it's irrelevant. I've done the work for camp.
Yeah.
Albeit a completely different style, and I've done my homework on this new opponent now, and I'm just ready to roll.
Yeah. And of course, look, with your opponent falling out with COVID, you were there yourself only a few months ago. Do you kind of sympathise with him a little bit? I know obviously it's upset your plans for the week, but you know what it feels like. You must sympathise with him a bit going into his debut, such a huge fight that he had to pull out in short notice.
Yeah, look at it. No, I don't really feel anything for the man, to be perfectly honest. I'll just be honest. Maybe after the fight I will, but I have too many things to focus on than how he feels right now.
Of course, and your new opponent, Jordan Winsky, so he's making his Bellator debut in this fight, and it's on relatively short notice, and he's coming in against a seasoned vet in yourself in the Bellator arena. Did you have respect for him in that sense of stepping up on this fight in short notice? Yeah,
big time, and I'll tell him that when I see him too.
Yeah.
They went through a long list of people, and I don't blame people for saying no on short notice. It's not for everybody. What did piss me off though is the guy who I was asked to fight second. He was 20-5. He's ranked number 1 in Japan, number 2 in Russia. He said yes. Then he must have looked at my highlight reel and then said no.
Yeah.
So that's annoying. But I have respect for this guy. He's flying across from the East Coast to fight. He's doing it on short notice. But that's where it ends with me. Now I'm. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
What he's done. I don't care. He's just now about. I will shake his hand. I will tell him that he has my respect. But then it's fight. Then it's fight time. I don't care. Then what's in front of me?
Then put him away after that. Yeah. I suppose I don't want to harp on it too much, but when you did get that news, you said you'd barely landed. You were just in the door. What was that kind of day like when you were trying to figure it out? Did you feel like with everything that happened in the last 18 months and trying to get a fight and it's been so difficult, did you feel like, oh, here we go again? Or were you confident that you were going to get the fight this weekend?
Bellator are always phenomenal with me. They're always just phenomenal in general. They're just an amazing company to work with. And I'm just always just speaking the truth. I've said to anybody that listens, they're great to work with. Yeah. And there was never a question in my mind that they'd find a replacement. But I did say that I didn't want a scrub. I didn't want a fucking guy on a losing record that they're just picking off the fucking street in California. I wanted a good opponent, and they obliged, and they gave me the option. They said, "Hey, you're over here. We're going to give you your show money, which is a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
And you don't have to fight." And I said, "No, I'm here to fight." You know what I mean? And I was excited with the 20-5 guy.
Yeah.
He's out. Now I'm excited about this guy. What I'm most excited about, Paul, is me going in there and doing my thing, because you will not fucking believe the work that went into this. The mental side of things, the physical side of things, I upped it to a different level.
Yeah.
And I'm just ready to showcase it. I get excited when I wake up in the morning because I go, yes, it's fight night, or yes, I'm fighting tomorrow. And then I go, fuck no, it's not. It's only Tuesday. You know what I mean? I'm like a kid at Christmas. I can't wait to get in, and you know, I'm excited as fuck here.
Yeah, and you're heading into your 8th Bellator bout. Would you consider yourself one of the elder statesmen in this division now? There's a lot of younger talent in the division. Would you consider yourself one of the kind of the senior representatives in this division right now?
I always no, to be perfectly honest, and I should go. You know, I look at these guys like, say, Caldwell or fucking Pitbull, or these guys that have these big, you know, this big history with Bellator, and I still feel like this is my like second fight. But when I break it down, this is my 8th fight. I should feel like that, but I don't. And maybe it's just the excitement of it. I'm not sure, but I always like, I'm a very grateful man. I'm very grateful for the things that I have in my life, the people that I have in particular. So like, I'm not like a spoiled fighter who takes this shit for granted. I'm fighting on a huge stage, and I'm always grateful for it. I'm never, you know, whinging about it, and that's probably why I feel like that. You know, this is like my first or second fight for Bellator. Still, I feel that excitement. But yeah, I'm going into my 8th fight, and it'll be, you know, 8 of many. You know what I mean? I plan on with a lot of things I put behind me with these hand injuries and things. I'm feeling amazing at 33 years of age, and I'm just ready to go on a tear here.
Very good. And we talked before about the rankings and when they came about, and you weren't on them originally because of confusion, then you got on them. But of course, there's been a lot of fights in the meantime. So is your goal to get on there and then start chipping away, or are you hoping to make a quick run at the title within the next kind of 12 months?
The rankings are like, they're very disrespectful, I must say. I think that there's a lot of questions to be asked, and not just from my point of view. And there's so much confusion about it. But like, you look at Caspel, Jornal Lugo, these guys that are ranked ahead of the likes of the guy who beat Brett Johns, or Brett Johns for that matter. You know, it doesn't make sense, and I think the either the criteria needs to be cleared up, or the people who are in charge of the rankings need to kind of have a bit more cop on with it, really. But I think my fight this weekend will put me back in the rankings. Am I that care? Do I care that much about it? Well, the thing that I'm focused on are performances. You're going to see a performance that's worthy of title shots, of title contention on Saturday night. And this is just going to be, like I said, one of many. Can't ignore this. You know what I mean? What I'm going to do to this division is something that other people can't do. They don't possess the power that I have. They don't possess the fight IQ that I have, and that can't be ignored for too long. Yeah,
of course. And we need to touch on the fight card itself. It's arguably, and I don't think it's even that arguable, that it's the biggest fight card that Bellator is ever going to put on, with the main event the way it is. You've been in there with AJ McKee. What have you made of AJ McKee since that fight and his progression, and what do you see as his chances versus Pitbull?
It's a great fight. You know better than anyone, I got into this sport as a fan of I didn't have a background in mixed martial arts or any martial arts. I got into it as a fan first and then as a fighter. So as a fan, I'm very excited to see it. Every time I back against Pitbull, I feel foolish because of the performance that he's able to lay out. AJ is, you know, he's 18-0 for a reason. He's dynamic, he's athletic, and he's clever. And one thing about him is I had 2 rounds on him, and he was beat up and cut. So he showed a lot of heart that night. He has that in him too if he's dragged into deep waters. I'm not sure how it will play out, but I'm very, very excited to see it. And both men they're great fighters. You know what I mean? Simple, and like, take my hat off to them. They're excellent fighters. I'm looking forward to it.
And of course, being on the card yourself, do you feel like this is a huge platform for you? Being it's a big card in America, it's the first one with the fans back in the arena as well. Do you feel like that's a big opportunity for you over in the States? We all know who you are this side of the pond, but they're starting to learn your name more so and more so over in America. Do you feel like this is a big opportunity for you?
I'd probably get more or as much like recognition and love from fans in America than I do in Ireland, to be perfectly honest. It's the hardcore fans in Ireland that know who I am, and but the scene is still smaller than in the States. You know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, I'm on the prelims, and I've asked to be on the lower end of the prelims, so it'll
suit us watching. Yeah.
Exactly. Because if you're not on the main card, it doesn't really matter where the fuck you are on the prelims. So, but you know, it's a huge card. The main card is exceptional. The main event is unbelievable. You said that, you know, it's the biggest card they'll ever do. I doubt it, because they're always like raising that bar. But to date, it's one of the biggest fights and cards in the company's history, without a doubt. So, you know, to be a part of it, it's cool. But, you know, I plan on headlining a lot more cards myself, and raising the bar for them as well.
Exactly. And it's interesting that they are going head to head with the UFC this Saturday night, and being that it's such a huge card for Bellator and UFC, I'm not going to say it's a weaker card, but it's a fight night card, and there's some recognizable faces, but not any huge names on that card. Is it exciting that this is the first time in a while that we've seen Bellator go to head to head, and it is likely that Bellator are going to come out on top this time?
It's without question a much stronger card than the UFC card this weekend. But the UFC have been putting on unbelievable cards as of late, so it's not. There's no shame in saying that, like, you know what I mean? But it is without question a far bigger card than what the UFC's card is this weekend. And yeah, it's exciting. But I always stay grounded, Paul. Always stay grounded with this shit, because like maybe it's because I've started off fighting in community halls, or maybe it's because I fought in front of fuck all people, you know, when the scene was only emerging in Ireland. But when I get in there and there's a referee and there's a man in front of me, everything vanishes. You know what I mean? I have a great coach in my corner, John, but a lot of the time I don't even hear what he's saying, you know, because I go back to that 1 versus 1, you know. You know, I take it all in, and especially afterwards. And again, I'm very grateful that fans are screaming for my name and excited for me and things like that. That's amazing. And it's something I'll be able to look back on in years to come as such. But when I'm in there, the thoughts of one of the biggest cards of the year doesn't really enter my head until after the fact.
So your last fight was in a closed arena over in Italy, and I know you just said it doesn't matter who's in the arena, or it doesn't matter the noise, you can zone that all out. But do you think there's going to be a difference in the atmosphere before, after? Maybe not so much during the fight that itself, but does it make a difference having a full audience in there surrounding the fight for you?
No, it does. Like, and just to clear it up, like, I don't focus on huge cards, big arenas, because at the end of the day, I'm very primal in the sense I think it's 1-to-1, but I do feel more comfortable when there's a crowd there. It was eerily quiet. To the point where you could hear your own thoughts. You could hear everything going on in the last one. You could hear the commentator speak. While fighting in front of a crowd, that feels normal to me now. You know what I mean? And if anything, it kind of gets me going. A lot of the times you'll see in fights where it might take me a to receive a shot to get going. But sometimes, a lot of the crowd usually does that for me, to be honest. You know what I mean? So. Look, it's cool. I'm blessed that I get to fight on such a huge show in front of such a huge crowd, and it's going to be very interesting to see, like, the Forum is such a legendary arena, and we'd fight in front of it where, you know, heroes of mine have fought. And I don't use the word lightly. Heroes, idols have fought. It's just unbelievable. It's going to be phenomenal.
And the reason I kind of harping on the atmosphere is because we know that Bellator have just agreed to put on a show in Dublin in November, and with James as the headline, I believe, against Patchy Mix. Are you targeting after this one? Are you targeting that card specifically as your next day out, or are you looking to get something before then, or is Dublin the goal now after this one?
Dublin is the goal, and I'll tell you why. October was announced for London, and
huge card as well.
Huge card, and it's an unbelievable main event. But you know, I said to myself immediately when I seen it this morning, that's the one I'm going to go for. And I said, no, it's not. It's going to be Dublin, because number one, this is my second camp. You know what I mean? Back to back, no break, no nothing. So August will be for my girls. That'll be me and the girls doing something every single day. We've got 3 little holidays booked, all this kind of stuff. And and I'll be back into it, you know, September, October, and then fight for November. But the second reason is there's not a fucking prayer I'm missing the 3 Arena again. The last time I fought there when I headlined it, and different things have got in the way, with injuries and stuff, and you know that they're in my, you know, rearview mirror now. I don't have these injuries. I don't have these recurring hand injuries because I've babied them and looked after them so well. I've done everything I could have done for them. So now it's tunnel vision on Saturday, and that's what I'm going to be aiming for next.
And I don't want to stress on it too much. I know you're focused on this weekend, but would you have an opponent in mind that would be the ideal kind of dance partner for a Dublin event?
Yeah, but I'll keep that, you know, up my sleeve tonight or this week. It's Brian Moore. That's my opponent.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter who is against me. Do you know what I mean? It's I'm fighting. You know, I'm fighting me basically. I know what my opponent next Saturday possesses, and I'm looking past that. You know what I mean? I'm not looking past him. I'm not looking past that. I'm not looking at the Saturday after. I'm not looking at any card after. I'm looking at this Saturday night because this is what I've put in. This is what I've trained, and it would be foolish to take these blinkers off so close. You know what I mean? The work is done, but on Saturday I get to go to work, and I've never been as excited to go to work. You know what I mean? So afterwards, I'll start putting the wheels in motion for the next one.
And will you use your mic time to make that announcement, or is it something you're going to consider after the weekend is done?
Probably mic time. Yeah, I have a lot of things to say, so I want that microphone in my face afterwards.
Very good. And you mentioned about opening the card and being early on the card. Are you confirmed as the opening fight on the card? Just for the Irish fans here, the earlier the better, as you said.
I want to be early, but I'm not the opening. I think I'm like the second or third fight, which is perfect.
Yeah, it's still a relatively early time here.
Yeah. Like you know, it's disappointing not being on the main card, but it's a big card. I get it. And then there's a lot of local guys. There's a lot of guys that they're trying to push up in other divisions, and I get it. That's cool. But if you're not on the main card, it doesn't really matter where you are. Then, like every time I've been on the prelims, I've opened I've closed off the prelims.
Yeah.
And people go, "Oh, you're the last fight before the main," and I'm like, "Doesn't really fucking matter." You know what I mean? It's either main or not. You know. So look, I keep saying performances are what rule. You know what I mean? And people will see, you know, these performances. They're, you know, in my opinion, I think you need guys like me on main cards. I'm always exciting. It's like you have a card to play where you're guaranteed excitement, you know. So you know, sometimes when I'm not on the main card, I'm like, all right, they're kind of missing a trick here, I feel.
The UFC, to be fair, they've really honed in on that lately, where the opening fight of the main card is one that everyone's excited for, or that there's an exciting fighter on there. Do you feel like that's the slot that you would fit into in a card like this, that you know you're going to get excitement regardless?
I think the perfect opener for a main card. People, when they turn on their TV to see Bellator, they're excited. You know, they're excited. When a fight plays out the way they don't want to in their head, where it's a 15-minute decision where guys are putting their hands up after the bell goes to try and sway the judges. Nobody likes that. That doesn't happen in my fight. That never happens in my fights, because like I said, I started this career as a fan, and I've progressed into a fighter. So it's important that fans are excited when I fight.
I see as well, you put it out this week, you have a new sponsor, a local LM Motors or something from Wexford. It's nice to have the home team coming on board and helping you out as well.
Yeah, I've a couple of good international companies that have came on board and that are with me with this pandemic. And you know, I felt like my management is fantastic, but I'm a very proud Wexford man, and you know, a very proud Irishman, and I wanted to showcase these guys. You know, when I brought my corner man with me, Jason. He's a Wexford man. I wanted him to experience as well. So I tried to bring guys out, and I wanted to do the same with companies, with Wexford-based companies. And LMR jumped on board, and they're phenomenal. They're absolutely excellent. I really only do work with brands that I really love and respect. And then I have another Wexford-based company. They're work from Australia as well that I'll be announcing then later on today as well.
Excellent stuff. Big shout out to JOKO. I know he's probably sulking around there somewhere in the background. Before I let you go, because look, traditionally when we sit across the desk from each other, we do our interviews. We're doing our predictions. What are your predictions for your fight and for the main event on Saturday night?
You know, I think I'm going to win this by a devastating finish. I really do. I think it's in me. I think that I've trained hard for it in that sense, that I've visualized it, I've put in all the work for it. And I think that if I go in and do my thing, it's an inevitable outcome. For the main event, I would like to see AJ win it. I would like to, and as a former foe, people are probably surprised here, but I would genuinely like to see him win it. And his dad is a good guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not that I'd like with the whole Pitbull and SBG rivalry thing. It's nothing to do with that. I actually have tremendous respect for Pitbull, and I think he's a phenomenal fighter, one of the best in the world. But I would like to see AJ do it, and whether he can or not, I'm not 100% convinced. I think he has a very, very tough task ahead of him. Yeah. And I think Pitbull, his fight IQ is on a different level than most. So I think that Pitbull will win it, and I think he perhaps might get it by finish too, maybe late third or fourth.
Very interesting. I have AJ myself, but I won't doubt your knowledge. Listen, thank you very much for coming on, Brian. It's a pleasure as always, and best of skills on Saturday night.
Thank you very much, Paul.
No problem.
I'll see you soon, man.
Bye now.